Hey guys, lukemick here, and this is my review for my very highly anticipated The Conjuring. So The Conjuring stars Patrick Wilson, who starred in Insidious for the most part, Vera Farmiga from The Departed and other movies, Ron Livingston from Office Space, and Lili Taylor, and I don't know what she's been in, but I'm sure I'd recognize her. It's some other movie. And basically it's about a new family who moves into a new house that I think they got for pretty cheap, and they have 5 little girls, children, and they start getting that, paranormal stuff is happening in their house. They're getting scared. They're getting bit by stuff, and they call on these investigators, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, to check out the house and see if there's any weird demonic stuff going on. So that's basically the plot of the movie. Now let's talk about the story structure. I thought the story was really good. It's based, I'm sure, pretty loosely on a true story, and these are true and real investigators. These were real people. I'm sure they're still alive. And the movie feels pretty realistic. There's nothing really too crazy happening that make it seem unrealistic. Obviously, there's some stuff that's a little dramatic and a little made up. But overall, I think the movie feels realistic and it feels real. And I thought the story was good, and I was entertained by it, and I liked it. Let's talk about now the performances. I thought everybody in this movie generally did a really good job, and there were 5 younger actresses in the movie. I don't like child actors. They weren't in it a ton. They didn't have that much screen time, but when they were in it, they weren't annoying to me, and I thought they did pretty well, especially for some of their ages. I'm glad that it wasn't centered around them a lot, because if that would have happened, I think we would have seen some really bad performances shining. Patrick Wilson, he's been doing stuff with James Wan, the director, for a couple of movies now. He did Insidious, Insidious 2, and now this one, but Insidious 2 obviously hasn't come out yet. And it seems like he's really just good at what he does with James Wan in these horror movies. He's really good in this movie like he was in Insidious. Vera Farmiga is really good too. She's usually good in everything. Lili Taylor as the mom is really good, and I really liked seeing Ron Livingston in a movie again. I only really know him in Office Space, and he was just hilarious in that movie, and it's really cool to see him in a different role so many years later, and I thought he did a good job playing the dad in the movie. Alright, let's talk about the direction and the cinematography. I thought this movie just looked spectacular, just all the shots and all the different angles they had and the longer hallways. The way the movie was done is really good, and that's kind of what you get from James Wan, and how the camera follows the characters through the house and really shows off how real the house is, and he's so good at directing these horror movies, and there's little creepy things that you see, and he's so good at getting them in the shot. It's very well directed, and the cinematography was great. It had a nice feeling to the movie. It felt very vintage and like it was actually from the 70s, and all the costume design and the hair and everything, it all looked very vintage, and I really liked that about the movie. There was also a lot of very eerie music that I felt was kind of a throwback to older horror movies, and I really liked hearing that in this movie. It felt like I was watching a movie that was made in the 1970s. It really almost felt that way, especially, like I said, the music they used in it. I thought it worked really well. It added to the creepiness of the movie. I do have about 1 or 2 complaints with the movie, and I haven't talked about them yet in the review. And the first one, I'll just get this out of the way, is that this is more of an opinion kind of thing, and it'll definitely be different for other people, but I really wasn't scared at all. I didn't think it was very scary. There was really not a lot of big moments that would... There weren't many jump scares, which is good, but I didn't even think it was that creepy. I just felt myself just kind of watching the movie. I thought it was a very well-made movie, very well orchestrated, but I just didn't really get that scared, and I guess that kind of goes into the writing and the directing, because I thought all the performances were solid and really good, but there were a couple times where I was kind of anticipating something, I didn't jump. I jump in an action movie a lot, but I did not jump in this, and I really wasn't that creeped out about it. Like I said, the music adds to the eeriness in the movie, but I wasn't really that creeped out, so that's a complaint. And another complaint is with the ending of the movie. It's based off a true story, like I said, so it kind of has a true story ending. It just wasn't as intense or as big of a climax as films such as Sinister or Insidious, for example. I mean, it just wasn't that exciting at the end. I mean, there's a cool scene, like the last sort of action part of the movie is good, but the way it all ended was just really kind of lame in my opinion. It doesn't really leave you with a punch. You just sort of are done. You're like, okay, well, that was fun to watch. It doesn't really leave you with anything to think about after the movie. And I was really disappointed with the ending, and I just wasn't really that scared. But overall, I think it was a very well-made movie. James Wan knows what he's doing behind the camera, except, I guess, the scariness, but I don't really know how to connect that with him. All the performances are really good, and like I said, it looks really nice, and the story is good. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars, and like I said, the whole scary level thing is kind of on opinion, but I just did not find it very scary, and the end I thought was pretty lame. So this is lukemick signing off. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later.